just admit the one that in BINUS, and as well, we want to rehearse for the final preparation for the meeting. Let me introduce also a very important person here, which is Mr. Fajar. He's the master of ceremony of this event.
All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Can someone help to unmute Miss Laili? I think.
So today, so it's more of introductions and presentation by Martin. And then for any partnership talks, we will have another meeting later.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So basically in here, this is a kind of formal meeting, and you will also not just, as I mentioned, not just from BINUS, you will also get other feedbacks from other university who are interested on having collaboration with Leeds University, and they will share during the session, or as well, they will send the proposal to you that we will coordinate it soon. Then in particular for BINUS, we invite the related head of program, as you mentioned, the master track, and also the double degree program, and also the research. I think at this point, today we only will hear from you, because this is a formal meeting. And we will have me and Satrio for the partnership will invite you for another meeting in about 2 weeks time.
Okay, sounds good.
Only for us.
Is Martin out? Can you get him in so that I can tell him again? We can tell him again what you just mentioned. Martin Mao.
Okay. We also admit Martin first then.
Yes, please. So then if you could just let him know as well what you just told me, because I wasn't aware about today. Is he in?
Is he in already?
Not yet.
Martin. Anyone see, or he is already in the Zoom?
He's not. Okay, I've just WhatsApped him. Hopefully he can read that. So he will be. Yeah.
Okay. And
yes, good afternoon. Can you hear my voice?
I can. Hi.
Hi.
Laila.
And
Laili.
we have Pak Rahmat.
Oke. Selamat datang Pak Rahmat di BINUS.
Tadi katanya suara tidak terdengar, coba apakah?
Oh, okay. So we, who is helping this? Arum or Nisa?
Mungkin boleh. Oh ya, sudah menjadi co-host sih.
Sudah, Miss.
For Pak Rahmat.
Pak Rahmat, selamat sore. Nah, suaranya belum masuk sepertinya. We cannot hear you, Pak Rahmat. Mami.
Sebentar, saya cek headset saya dulu sebentar, Bu ya.
Dengar Pak Rahmat suaranya? Silakan Pak. Dia sudah masuk di meeting room.
Okay, Budia, we have here Premila from Leeds University.
Hi, Premila.
Hello, everyone.
So, Dr. Tia is our director, Binus Global Director, and also welcome Pak Rahmat from IISMA Dikti.
Sore, Pak Rahmat.
Sore, makasih Bu. Halo, good evening.
Okay, and I think that is Martin, I assume also already joining, Premila.
Yes. Good morning. Apologies. I just had a different virtual background, so I just removed it. But good morning, everybody. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Martin.
Okay, so welcome to the meeting, the IISMA meeting hosted by Binus University. So I think we almost started the meeting. Any logistic things that we need to cover in 1 or 2 minutes before we admit all participants?
So, Joro, if you could just update again how the meeting will go today.
Okay.
It's a premise, please. Yeah.
Just to give brief information first for Martin in specific, I just told Premila that this is one of the meeting organized by Dikti and Indonesian University for IISMA. So we are lucky enough to host Leeds University. And in this forum, it's not only for Binus, but we invite all other Indonesian university to participate and also to interact with Leeds University. So during the Q&A, you will be receiving feedback and also maybe the proposal of partnership from other universities side from Binus. And also we will compile in terms of the proposal and we will send it to you. And for the partnership with Binus itself, we also invite some related jurusan, the faculties, and then maybe in 2-3 weeks ahead, we will invite for a specific meeting with Binus University colleagues. And we have here the master of ceremony of this special event is Bapak Fajar.
Hello, Saudara.
And Bapak Fajar, do you want to run through for the rundown briefly?
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you, Ms. Dora. I believe you have received the rundown, but let me refresh your mind about how this session is arranged. Yes, Ms. Dora? Okay, yeah, thank you. So we'll commence the sessions at 15:15, but I believe we are behind our schedule. Okay, so to begin with, I will open the sessions with the video playing of Binus University video profile, and then I will hand the screen to Ibu Dia, Dr. Dia, to deliver her opening remarks, and then we can hear a remark from Bapak Rahmat as the representative from Dikti, and also okay, and also I'm sorry, I think it's supposed to be Dr. Rahmat first, and then we hear remarks from the University of Leeds as the third remarks. And is it from you, Premila or Martin?
Martin will do the opening remarks. Martin, you okay there? Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. And then we will have a group photo together with the 3 speakers, and then we can proceed the session with a presentation session from your side, from the University of Leeds, and then the presentation will be followed by a Q&A session. And in this session, Ibu Dora will help us to lead the discussion. And then after that, we can close the sessions, and I hope we can finish it before 16:45. Thank you. And now, Mr. Martin, do you want to share your screen and let's see if it works?
Yeah, sure. Just give me 2 seconds. That coming through? Okay.
Okay, that's great. Do you wish to display any video, Martin?
I haven't got a video. I can get one if it was something that'd be beneficial. I'd have to do some digging in the background on my laptop to find it. But I wasn't planning to play a video. I was just concerned about the bandwidth and whether it would work.
That's okay. Thank you very much. And excuse me, I need to make sure how to pronounce your last name. Is it Mao? Martin Mao?
Yeah, Mol. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Usually gets a lot of different pronunciations, but yes, it's Mol. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, Ms. Dora, I think we're good.
Okay, so shall we start for this meeting? I think we are ready. So we will admit the participants and we shall start. Thank you everyone for the cooperation. Have a successful meeting.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of IISMA Partnership Meeting 2022. Thank you for logging in. It's a great pleasure to have you all here with us for a presentation from the University of Leeds. My name is Fajar from Binus International Office, and I'm honored and excited to be sharing this wonderful afternoon with you. Firstly, allow me to warmly welcome our distinguished guest, Ketua Program Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards, Dr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, Binus Global Director, Dr. Dia Wihardini, and from the University of Leeds, the Regional Development Manager, Mr. Martin Mol, and the Director of the University of Leeds C Regional Office, Ms. Premila Kanapathe. And warmest welcome to all invitees, respected representatives from the International Office of the participating Indonesian universities in IISMA 2022. Before we begin the session, I'd like to inform you some housekeeping rules. First, allow us to mute your microphones to avoid unpleasant noises that can disrupt the meeting. And if you can, please join us with your camera on to create a friendly and warm virtual environment. And for all participants, please change your display name with your home institution, followed by your full name. You can see the format and the example on your screen. During the discussion later, if you have anything in mind, please let us know by typing out your questions or your responses in the chat column. We will read your questions after the presentation is finished. You also can raise your hands to ask permission to use the microphone to address your questions directly to the floor. Last but not least, please complete the attendance form to record your participation. You also can upload your partnerships proposal to the University of Leeds in the given section. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Binus University is truly honored to host IISMA Partnership Meeting presenting the University of Leeds. We hope that this meeting can be a convenient virtual space to interact and discuss our common interests that hopefully can open a lot of doors for future collaborations with the University of Leeds as one of the largest higher education institutions in the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, and to begin with this session, let's take a few minutes to have a close look into Binus University through the playing of its video profile.
Indonesia's cultural and biodiversity is remarkable. The country never ceases to enchant. This is a place where a person can understand the big picture, learn to go the extra mile, to overcome challenges, and experience sights and sounds that get carved into your memory. Holding the seat of ASEAN, the capital city Jakarta is a rapidly growing business hub in Southeast Asia, harnessing marketplaces and technologies that drive demand. Bina Nusantara Group actively shapes this vibrant region, offering education of an international standard through BINUS primary and secondary schools and BINUS higher education systems. Serving the community across the archipelago and beyond.
BINUS University, I believe it's a place where you can meet new friends and a place where you can grasp new opportunities.
The teachers use a lot of discussion, so it's not just about a monologue in front of the class, it's really about understanding.
First of all, if we talk about quality, you expect that qualities come from the inside of a person. And for me, what's very important is for students to have passion and to know what they love. And we encourage that in our project. They have to also think about caring or emotional connections with communities that really, really make Indonesia great.
BINUS ASO School of Engineering is a joint venture school between Indonesia and Japan. We teach not only Japanese language, but also Japanese technology and also business ethics. The BINUS University is the most progressive private university in Indonesia, we think. So, and also the BINUS University has many partnerships all over the world.
3+1, I think, is a very good program. I think very unique. Because we designed this one, make sure the student, when they graduate, they don't have culture shock. So 3+1, I think 1 year they had to work in with us. We train them everything. So when they graduate, they are ready for the market. They are ready for the job. They are ready for industry.
My partner and I started up this business called Borneo Eyewear. It initially started as a group project while we were in BINUS. I guess what is really important is determination, confidence, learning to respect one another, and applying all that they have learned when they already graduated from the university.
BINUS, fostering and empowering the society in building and serving the nation. BINUS University.
Thank you very much. Now allow me to cordially invite BINUS Global Director, Dr. Dia Wihardini, to deliver her opening remarks. The time is yours, Dr.
Thank you, Mas Fajar. Distinguished guest, Dr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, the Program Chair of the Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards, or IISMA, Mr. Martin Mo, the Regional Development Manager, and also Ms. Premila Kanapati, the Director of the University of Leeds, Southeast Asia Regional Office. And of course, respected audience, leaders, and colleagues from the international offices of Indonesian higher education institutions throughout Indonesia. Good afternoon to my fellow Indonesians and good morning to you, Martin and Premila. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards Partnership Meeting, presenting the University of Leeds as the IISMA partner and hosted by BINUS University. I would like to start these brief remarks by saying how fortunate we are to have a great support from the Indonesian government, represented by Dikti, specifically the IISMA team, whose initiatives have resulted in the success of IISMA 2021. I believe everyone here agrees that IISMA 2021 has run successfully, and the upcoming program will guarantee improvement and sustainability in its implementation. BINUS University is especially grateful for the opportunities provided to our students who were selected as the IISMA grantees. So we have 31 BINUSians conducting mobility to various countries, such as Canada, Lithuania, Malaysia, Russia, Spain, South Korea, Taiwan, the Netherlands, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, the UK, and the United States of America. So hopefully this new cycle of IISMA in 2022 will bring the utmost benefits and impacts not only to BINUS, but also to other Indonesian higher education institutions. and of course, the participating IISMA partners around the world. So I would like to thank the IISMA team to invite our IISMA international partners to this webinar opportunity where we can initiate a discussion to explore for potential collaborations in a series of networking sessions. So in this session, we are honored to meet the representatives from the University of Leeds, which is an esteemed institution in the UK, offering a number of international programs. Ms. Kanapati and Mr. Mangu, soon after your presentation, you will hear the aspirations of the colleagues from the international offices throughout Indonesia here. So I bet there will be probably a lot of questions from us because we are surely very keen to explore possible and further collaborations with you. So I hope you will find our inquiries interesting to follow up further and also in the interest of the University of Leeds. For leaders and colleagues of the Indonesian international offices, you are welcome to engage and participate in today's discussion, and we sincerely hope that the international collaborations can be established with all of the participating institutions here. I wish you an enjoyable and productive session today. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Dr. Jia, for your kind remarks. Moving on to the next agenda, I would like to invite Ketua Program Indonesian International Mobility Awards, Dr. Rahmat Sriwijaya, to deliver his remarks.
Thank you, Fajar. Yeah, thank you, Fajar. Good evening, colleague from Indonesia, and also good morning, colleague from Leeds University. Honorable host this evening, Ibu Dia, as the Director BINUS Global Institution, and also our friend from Leeds University, Mr. Martin Mo, the Regional Development Manager, and also Ms. Premila Kanapati, Director of the University of Leeds C Regional Office. Thank you very much for your participation in this morning meeting in UK. This meeting is a part of the IISMA Student Mobility activity. The committee of IISMA not only want to give the international experiences to the student, but also our Indonesian higher education institution also. So this evening meeting or this morning meeting is to introduce the Indonesian university to our international reputable university, including your university, the Leeds University. So we hope that not only the students have a good experience, but also their institution also have a good experience. So we want after this activity, this year activity, the university can explore the extension collaboration, not only student mobility, but also for the research and exchange for the professor, and also publication, and then joint seminar and extra. So thank you very much again for our colleague from Leeds University. This morning meeting, not only BINUS team join with the meeting, but also I think more than 30 Indonesian higher education join with this meeting. So that means if you can propose the potential collaboration of the Leeds University to our Indonesian higher education institution. I believe after this meeting, Leeds will have new friends, not only Venus, but a lot of friends come from this meeting. So again, I would like to say thank you to Venus team, especially for Budia, for facilitation is to this Zoom meeting, and also Bu Dora, and also Mas Fajar. Thank you very much. I hope this meeting will give the positive result. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you for your kind words. Now let us hear a remark from the Regional Development Manager, Mr. Martin Mole from the University of Leeds.
Brilliant, thank you, and thanks very much for colleagues from IISMA and from Venus for organising today's session and giving us the opportunity to hear a little bit more and to discuss in a little bit more detail about the opportunities that exist for us to collaborate more extensively with colleagues in Indonesia. And obviously good evening to everybody, and apologies if you do hear any noise in the background. Obviously still fairly early morning here. My children have just had their breakfast and they have a lot more energy than I ever have on a Monday morning, so apologies if there's any noise in the background. But yeah, it's fantastic, as I say, to be here today. It's been a real honour for the University of Leeds to be selected to be part of the IISMA programme, and I think we welcomed 13 students on campus in our first semester, and you know, the feedback that we received and the experience of academic colleagues and administrative colleagues of your students was very positive. We had some nice sessions with them and some opportunities to kind of find out a little bit more about them and about Indonesian culture while they were on our campus. So we've been delighted to have been part of that scheme. I'll talk about it more in my presentation, but the University of Leeds does have extensive links and an extensive alumni base across Indonesia. So it's certainly a country where there is lots of experience of students coming to Leeds and returning to Indonesia and developing highly successful careers in academia, as well as across a range of kind of private industry as well. So, you know, we do have very active research collaboration with a range of institutions in Indonesia. So it is a key sort of strategic partner as a country for us. So again, delighted to be here today to have an opportunity to reach out and have a discussion with more colleagues. It is an exciting time, I think, to be working at the University of Leeds. We have, I say, a new vice chancellor, not necessarily new any longer, but just over a year she's been in post, and she has very, very ambitious targets, and she's kind of transformed the approach of the institution. A drive to kind of tackle, you know, the global challenges that exist, I think, has become really important, or increasingly important for us. So lots of exciting things and lots of exciting projects for us to consider and to engage with as members of staff at the University of Leeds at the moment. And obviously part of that is looking to develop more extensive links in a range of new forum, I would say, across the world, and looking at different types of partnerships than have maybe been traditionally the focus at Leeds. And of course, we're looking at those links and how we can kind of manifest those across different countries around the world. But I'll mention a little bit more about that in the presentation further on in this session. But yes, thanks again for hosting us today, and we look forward to having the opportunity to discuss these things in a little bit more detail over time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Mo. Thank you for your remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, before we go to our core agenda, let's take a group photo together. And allow me to spotlight several people here. Give me a moment. Dr. Rahmat, are you there? Okay. It's Dora. Okay. And I believe.
And Pramila?
Pramila.
Yeah.
You're there. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Everyone, please look at your camera and give us your most beautiful smile. I'm counting down from 3, 2, 1. Okay. Once again. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the presentation session from the University of Leeds, which will be delivered by the Regional Development Manager, Mr. Martin Mo. Without further ado, let's welcome back Mr. Mo.
Telat aku.
Okay, I trust that's come up okay.
This is perfect. It's perfect. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, great. So I've just got a relatively short introductory presentation about the University of Leeds, just to provide a bit of kind of background context about the institution, and obviously happy to discuss in a little bit more detail further on in the day in a bit more detail, either during the session or after the session. As I just try and move to dodge the sun, it's a nice bright and cold morning in Leeds, so hopefully the sun doesn't shine too much in my eyes and dazzle me during the presentation. Okay, so just to kind of start with the background. So the university itself is obviously a historic institution in the United Kingdom, established in the early 1900s, and we are part, as I'm sure you're aware, of the sort of prestigious Russell Group of UK universities. So the kind of research-intensive institutions in the UK, where a lot of the kind of research funding is invested around the Russell Group institutions, and lots of very world eminent research is kind of coming out of the Russell Group institutions. So it's a prestigious group for us to be part of, which gives us access to lots of networks, lots of links, and lots of opportunities to drive forward the kind of academic agenda of the institution. We are also one of the largest universities in the UK. Actually, we went up this year up to 39,000 students, so we've gone up a little bit this year, but we're also a very international university. So over 170 different nationalities represented on campus, and that's one of the key drivers of the international office activities. Obviously, to have that diversity of international student cohort on a range of our programs, through from foundation through to the research activity or the research degrees that we undertake as part of the university. So very big, but also very diverse student population. And we are also very all-encompassing in terms of the disciplines that we tend to cover. I'll mention the faculties a little bit further on in the presentation, but lots of undergraduate, lots of master's programs. We are going through a kind of curriculum redefined process at the moment that I think is something that institutions do periodically to ensure that what we're delivering is right for what the world needs. And I mentioned that we have a very kind of visionary Vice Chancellor who's at the helm of the university, who wants to ensure that what we're doing is addressing those kind of key issues. But yeah, we do cover most academic subject areas at the university. So a very mixed bag of different types of programs that we offer. In terms of reputations, I've mentioned that we are part of the Russell Group, just to highlight some of the rankings that are associated with the university that sort of show our strength and reputation. So we are ranked within the top 100 universities in the world according to the QS World University Rankings. As I mentioned before, we are a very international institution, something that we strive to achieve. So we're the 35th most international university in the world, according to the Times Higher Education Survey in 2020. We are also, I'd say, in a really strong position in terms of the opportunities for our graduates in the job market. So according to the Graduate Market 2021 High Flyers Research Survey, we are the 5th most targeted UK university for graduate recruiters. So that obviously means that our students are in a really fantastic position when it comes to looking for opportunities in the future. And as the government relatively recently reintroduced our post-study work opportunities for international students that can now remain in the country for 3 years after they graduate from an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree. That obviously puts them in a good position as well if they do want to have an experience of working in the UK on graduation, and either think about, obviously resettlement permanently, or whether it's, as lots of students do, want an opportunity just to work in the culture for a number of years before kind of transferring those skills back to their home country or to another country. And because obviously we have a very mobile population, if we go back to pre-pandemic times, obviously it's stumbled a bit recently, but hopefully as things will start to settle down and normalize again, and that opportunity to be an internationally mobile individual kind of comes back onto the agenda a little bit more. So great opportunities for our students in terms of in the job market. And also I think one of the big elements of Leeds which makes us very popular domestically is also the student experience. So we're consistently ranked within the top institutions in the UK for student experience, and that's because of the infrastructure that we have, because we do have so many students from so many different backgrounds, a very active students union that organises lots of different activities and lots of support that's put in place for our students to ensure that they are successful when they're studying with us. So it tends to be a very happy campus to be based upon, I would say. Just to show you in a kind of an image what the actual campus itself looks like. So the area that is highlighted is the University of Leeds campus, just in front of you here. But what you can see is we're on the doorstep of the city of Leeds, and Leeds is one of the biggest cities in the UK. So lots of opportunities are available within the city. Lots of companies have recently relocated and extended their reach into the city as the government has an agenda to try and reinvigorate the economies in different parts of the country. I'd say Leeds is one of the cities that's really benefited from that. We've always had a lot of opportunities in finance and law, but there's a lot of different organisations that have moved into Leeds recently around the kind of media side, especially, and Channel 4, one of the national broadcasters, has relocated to Leeds. Sky has a big location based in Leeds as well. So it's a vibrant city. What we do have is a big, apologies if you can't hear me too clearly, the fan's coming on my laptop, but hopefully you can still pick me up okay. What we do have as a big advantage as well is that our campus is a self-contained campus, which is quite unique in sort of Russell Group, in the sense that we're right next to the city, but we're also a self-contained campus. So it has the benefit of when you're on campus, it feels very contained, and it's easy to be sociable. It's easy to kind of see people and to network with colleagues. But equally, you can be in the city of Leeds in 10 minutes. So I think we feel like we've got the best of both worlds, and it's a unique position to be in as part of Russell Group institutions who do have campus-based universities, but they tend to be a bit further from the city, so they don't necessarily have that same benefit. Okay, so just to touch on the faculties that we have at the institution as well, just to kind of, I mentioned before about the range of coverage that we have as a university, which is most subject areas are offered at the University of Leeds. But you can see here we have our Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Culture. We have our Faculty of Biological Sciences. We have a Faculty of Business, Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences, Faculty of Environment, Faculty of Medicine and Health, and Faculty of Social Sciences. So within those faculties, as I mentioned before, there are sort of hundreds of different talk programs and lots of very world-leading research centres as well. So it's a very all-encompassing education that's offered at the university. And again, we can talk in a little bit more detail about that at a later stage. And then just to kind of set the context of Leeds and Indonesia. So I mentioned earlier on in the opening remarks that Leeds has extensive links with the region. So we do have starting off with the student mobility, we do have a lot of history of welcoming Indonesian students to Leeds, and it's always very nice and happens quite frequently. I'm sure Pramila would reflect the same, that often when we're speaking to potential partners in Indonesia, it's often that academic colleagues from those partners are graduates of the University of Leeds, and I think some of our most successful collaborations are based upon colleagues who have been previously maybe supervisors, then developing further relationships with colleagues who have returned to Indonesia and developed their own kind of academic pathway, and are looking for collaborative activity with institutions in the UK. So there is a big alumni base. At the moment, we have 140 students from Indonesia who are studying with us, and that's from foundation year, which Indonesian students who finish high school, because it's slightly shorter than England, have to undertake a foundation program. So we have students on our foundation year, on our undergraduate degree, on our postgraduate taught degree, and also on our postgraduate research degrees. And that's an area that we do a bit of work. And as I say, we have had quite a lot of funded research students from Indonesia do their PhD with us over a number of years now. As I mentioned, the volume, we do have a very strong volume in terms of the number of students, and we have an active LUBS, that's Leeds University Business School, Jakarta Charter as well. So we do try and do a lot of work with our alumni to allow them to benefit from the networking opportunities of having studied at an institution like Leeds. We are obviously looking to further develop our links with Indonesian research and education partners. We have a number of fairly active research collaborations at the moment, largely based upon kind of individual relationships, I would say. But it's certainly something that we're interested in developing further. And we do have a number of education links that are in development or have been development that include collaboration around undergraduate education, but predominantly postgraduate education, and looking at things like a 1+1, where students undertake their first year in Indonesia and then come to Leeds for the second year to undertake their sort of full masters with us, but the credit is recognised by their host institution in Indonesia. We're also always interested in things like 2+2 collaborations as well. Looking at the kind of research profile that I mentioned before, so there's been in the last 5 years over 150 joint research publications with over 30 different institutions in Indonesia. So again, it's quite an active partner. Pramila has been introduced, but we do also have our office based in Southeast Asia that helps support our Indonesian students who are thinking about coming to Leeds, but also importantly our partnership activity in the region. And I think that really helps us to develop those and manage those relationships and kind of facilitate that. So there's Pramila based in the office, and there's 3 other colleagues who are based in KL as well. So really helps us to develop those links in the region. Traditionally, lots of regular visits, and again, academic colleagues who spend a lot of time in Indonesia. Obviously, that's not necessarily been possible. Hopefully, that will start to become possible again in over the next year or 6 months to a year. But I guess things are still a little bit complex and unpredictable and subject to changes. But I think one of the positives for us, and I don't know if colleagues from Indonesian institutions would agree, one of the positives for us probably from this difficult situation and the pandemic situation has been that our online collaboration has probably improved, and in some senses we've probably had more contact with some of our partners now than maybe we did previously when we were just relying on face-to-face engagement. Now that we do have the opportunity to meet virtually, and it's more of an accepted norm, I think that has helped sort of develop some of our relationships across the world. So there's been some positive elements to what's been obviously a very horrible situation across the world, and hopefully that will start to settle down over the coming months and years. And just wanted to finish with the details of the kind of social media presence and the email address of our regional office, and Pramila and the team are the best points of contact for the partnerships discussions, I would say, and can help to really drive that forward and make sure that we're prioritizing and focusing on those opportunities that could be really beneficial for both the Indonesian partner and the University of Leeds. So that was all I wanted to say. I didn't want to talk for too long and give too much death by PowerPoint on a Monday afternoon or a Monday evening. But delighted again that I've had the opportunity to join you today, and thanks again to IISMA and to Binus for hosting us today, and look forward to having further discussions.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you for the presentations. I believe there are a lot of interesting areas to be explored here. And now we have arrived at the discussions or Q&A session. And to help me lead the discussions, I'm pleased to hand over the screens to Binus Collaboration Center Manager, Ms. Theodora Supiantoro. The time is yours, Ms. Dora.
Okay, thank you, Fajar. So I think we are quite impressed with the description of Leeds University, which have like 300 undergraduate and 200 master programs. I think we can have Ms. Pramila as well for the spotlight for the committee. And I will facilitate the question and answer session. So I would like to see some hand raised or the question in the chat. Not yet at this point. So anything you want to add, Ms. Pramila, about the University of Leeds?
No, I think Martin has covered everything, but we're really keen in having more partnerships in Indonesia. We work very closely with some universities, and we're keen to expand that partnership, especially with BINUS and with other universities in attendance today. I see Ibu Lely has joined us from University of Malang, and we also work closely with University of Malang, so we are looking forward to expand these relationships.
Okay. So, and I think also we already received some highlight of the proposal for BINUS University itself. I would like to introduce here, we have a head of program from food technology. Yeah, Ibu Diana, I think.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Do you have one or two initial question from the to the University of Leeds?
Yeah, I have some questions related to the master degree. I've heard that in Indonesia, the master degree is about 2 years. If our student interest to have a collaborations, is it possible like to make it shorter than 2 years or 1.5 years, like that thing for the study programs? Yeah, from food technology.
Are you and is that in the context of still it being a master's degree, or are you thinking about developing other types of like CPD programs, or is that still that you would want them to be awarded with a master's degree?
Yes, about the master degree, how long does it take?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I guess one of the reasons I suppose a lot of students do come to the UK to undertake a master's is because it is a one year program. We do, as I mentioned briefly in the presentation, without sort of touching on the detail, we do have some discussions, don't we, Pramila, ongoing that have not quite yet been finalised, that are looking at a 1+1 master program with a partner in Indonesia. So I suppose it's not accelerated as such, but they are awarded with a degree by the Indonesian institution as well as the University of Leeds on the basis of 1 year in Indonesia and 1 year at Leeds. So it's the same duration, I suppose, that they would have traditionally, but they're able to obtain a master's from both institutions.
Okay. So we could look at 2 different types of specializations within food sciences. So a specific specialization from BINUS, and then they could come to us and do our masters as well. So it's a 1+1.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for your informations.
Okay, thank you. Any other, maybe from other universities?
Yeah, may I ask for a bit? Hello, Martin. Thank you, Ibu Theodora. Hello, Martin. My name is Suryani. I'm coming from Ciputra University in Surabaya. I would like just to offer, if you have an event online, remembering today is unable for us to see or going to your place. If you have online seminar or webinar with BINUS also, we would like to also join a partner for hosting that type, maybe for several topics like green buildings or green economics. We would be very interested on that. Our university having an entrepreneurship as a pipeline. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Ibu.
Brilliant. No, thank you for that. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's something, Pramila, that we can kind of take back and do a little bit of digging, can't we, to see what's already happening in that space, and if there is anything that we can invite you to, or whether colleagues in that area would be interested in developing further kind of collaborations. And I think, as I mentioned, it does feel like one of the it's obviously been a very difficult and challenging time, but one of the positive things, I suppose, if you're trying to take the positive things out of a negative situation, has been the increase in that kind of online collaboration and the engagement of colleagues across the institution in that. It has grown, and I think we also have an increased focus on online provision. I think moving forward, Leeds has kind of got quite I'm not going to say extensive. We have a certain proportion of online programs that we deliver, but no, that's something that the Vice Chancellor also wants to kind of increase that kind of collaboration that we have, and the delivery in the online space is something that we're looking to move into. But certainly in terms of the research collaboration, we can have a look at that, can't we, Pramila, and feedback.
Wonderful. Do you have the choir? Do you like to join the choir competition with Indonesia organization and US? I would like to offer that also if University of Leeds had that kind of activity in choir.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we do definitely have a very kind of active music faculty, don't we? So we can, we can see what, try and share those opportunities. Sounds interesting.
I will write to you then, and CC Ibu Theodora then. Thank you, Ibu. Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Suryani.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can follow up soon, because in BINUS as well, we have architecture program, and we have here Dr. Religiana from Faculty of Engineering. So
yes, hello.
Yes, green buildings and green economics, Bu Lala.
Hello, hello, Ibu Dora. Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. Hi, Martin. Hi, Pramila. Oh yeah, by the way, I've been to Leeds about 10 years ago. It's one. It's a nice city. It's near to York. I also went to York. That's quite near from Leeds. Yeah. Okay, maybe I would like to continue. Ms. Dora just mentioned. Yes, we have architecture, civil engineering, industrial engineering, computer engineering, and food technology. But currently, actually, I would like to highlight about building information modeling. Just now, we just have a new lab, BIM, building information modeling. I don't know if we can do whether webinar or workshop, or we have collaborations in students' assignment using BIM. So it will be very wonderful because this is quite new for us. And about the master degree, you mentioned that there is a one-year program for master. Is it coursework? For coursework?
I guess each master's program is assessed in slightly different ways, but traditionally there would be exams and coursework, and the balance between the two kind of differs, I think, depending upon the master's program. But there is coursework, and there is examinations traditionally as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's my question.
And were you studying in the UK then, or was it just was it kind of a research visit when you came to Leeds and York, or was that
sorry?
When you came to visit the Leeds, was that were you studying?
It's just a travel.
Right.
I'm just traveling. I studied in US when I took my PhD.
Ah, brilliant! Right. Okay, but you've had a chance to visit some of the northern cities like Leeds and New York. So it's nice to. Seems like a distant memory now, doesn't it? Kind of traveling to visit places face to face. It's all virtual, but yeah, no, great. No, we can definitely have a think about that coming from middle as well, and try to make some notes. And
yeah, but to Martin about your question on our masters, we've got both taught postgraduate and masters by research, and all masters 1 year. So
do you have any specific program for architecture? I mean, for undergrad, or
we don't have architecture. I mean, for undergraduate, we have architectural engineering. Do we still have it? But not architecture.
Like fast track program for architecture or civil engineering. Okay. Yeah, maybe if do you have any interest in collaborating in BIM, so maybe we can do the collaboration.
Yes.
But we open for any possible collaboration.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Lala.
Yeah, thank you, Bu.
Okay, and then I think we have several friendly faces here from the other Indonesian university. So anyone would like to share a feedback or a question to the University of Leeds?
I think from Satawacana it's a question, Ibu Dora, if I may. Hi again. Hi again. Yeah, it's friendly place because there is this national network of Indonesian universities that BINUS and Satawacana are members of, and it's called NUNI. So probably that's one of the direction for NUNI if we want to collaborate and establish something that is more fixed with University of Leeds. But by the way, I'm a very straightforward person, so I didn't introduce myself. But my name is Neni, as you can see in my screen, and I'm from Satawacana Christian University. That's in Central Java, Salatiga, very sort of like today is Mancunian weathers. I always call it Mancunian weathers. Probably anybody from the northwest of the UK must be familiar with what kind of that weather. But
lots of rain.
Yep, it's like continuous rain since the morning. But yeah, I think I'm familiar with that because I was spending 4.5 years in Manchester. But anyway, my question is to Martin and Premila probably. Is it possible to do we have to go through your office if we want to collaborate on certain specific research project? Or can we directly go to the faculty member whose research expertise is in certain topic? Because we do have an alumni from University of Leeds here from the School of Education. And I think the School of Education of Leeds is absolutely perfect. But because she is an alumni, so she has more knowledge of the faculty members at that school who are expert in that. So should we go certain route for having collaboration, or can we, for example, just go to specific faculty members and then CC it to your office? I think that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a question that could have lots of different answers, I think, couldn't it, Pramila? I suppose really. I suppose for us, we like to be aware as a team of what's happening. I suppose the work that Pramila and myself get most involved with is around student mobility and I suppose the partnerships that support the student mobility. But we certainly do help with faculties to look at the opportunities that are available across the region and help to facilitate those relationships. But I would say when it comes down to the research activity, I suppose that's one of the things that it happens, as you say, on a more organic basis, I guess, on the basis of relationships. But in terms of answering your question, I think to be able to get things like MOUs if they're necessary and all those kind of things, it's better to come via us. But if your colleague has a direct contact in education, there's no harm in reaching out to that specific person to have a chat and say this is something they're interested in. But in terms of the structural and the formalities of the MOU or anything that needs to be signed, it comes through Pramila and my office, so we would need to be involved with it. But there's we also have a research and innovation office that supports the activity, supports bid writing and looking for funds to support the collaborative activities that sit separately from us. And there's a lot of research ongoing that Pramila and myself are not actively involved with and wouldn't necessarily have as much awareness of. So I guess what I'm saying is it kind of works in many different ways, as I'm sure it does probably in a lot of universities. But I would say if we're looking at a formal relationship, it's better to go via us because we have access to we can provide guidance. We talk to the international leads in each of the faculties and try and guide them about the best opportunities. We can help to coordinate funding bids, MOUs and all that sort of stuff. So I'd say come to us, but also it would be good if there's a personal relationship, then there's no harm in also reaching out directly.
In relation to that, actually, this is one of the suggestions. I don't know if it's already available at Leeds, sort of like database that specific for, because I understand Premila is working in Southeast Asia regional office. So if there is probably not a very big database, but a list of research that are specifically looking for potential partnerships in the Southeast Asia, that will be useful. And possibly if NUNI, I don't know from NUNI, because I always think that Nuni is a little bit not being spotlighted. I mean, the big universities, they all have direct connection and resources, but it might be a good idea because we all submitted sort of like a short PowerPoint, a short presentation, and we can develop something from that as a database from Leeds. So, I believe that, I think BINUS has already compiled all of our PowerPoint, right? So probably given it to you and come up with the research. I understand that there are many directions of students' mobility, faculty mobility, or research, and people from different universities probably want to go to different directions. But I would appreciate if there is a sort of like shortlisted database for research that we can then, formalize something out of that rather than going one by one, because it's kind of like painstaking if we go to one person or one researcher, things like that. I don't know if this is coherent or not, but that's sort of like the idea that we would like to propose.
Pramila, I guess we don't necessarily have a list that we could say that these are the priority areas necessarily for Southeast Asia. But what we do have across the institution, if you come by us, is we have pro-deans who lead each of the faculties in terms of their international strategic priorities, and then we have within each of the individual schools. So within, for example, social sciences, the School of Education sits under that faculty, and they have their own international lead. Who is there to kind of drive forward the strategy. So I think if you come by us, we can feed the information out to the faculties and then also to the international leads to find out what they're interested in, and then we can prioritize those areas that both institutions are interested in. I guess, Pramila, do you agree that's the easiest way?
Yes, I agree, Martin.
Thank you.
So come to us with the idea, and then we can feed it out, and then we'll feed back to you once we've spoken to the kind of relevant stakeholders, because we don't have a list as such. We don't have strategic partners in the region necessarily. We just so I think that we come to us with that, and we can look at it on a case by case basis. I guess is probably the best solution in the situation at the moment.
Okay, certainly we will. Thank you so much, Martin and Pramila.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Neni. Thank you also introducing Nuni. Okay, and I think you can drop as well, Martin or Pramila, your contact or the email that in the chat box. So if anyone want to reaching out after this meeting, they can contact you as well. So we have in here Ibu Erlin Erawan from Widya Mandala Catholic University. So please, Bu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bu Theodora. Hello, Martin and Pramila. My name is Erlin, and I'm from Widya Mandala, Surabaya Catholic University. It's in the city of Surabaya, east of Java. My question is almost similar to Bu Neni's questions. Actually, it's about research collaboration, and I've browsed your website, and I know that chemical engineering is something that a program that you have, and with chemical engineering in Widya Mandala is actually one of our flagship programs, and we have 2 young professors already in that program. One of them is only in her 40s actually, and she is the lead female scientist here in Southeast Asia and Asia. And we've had collaboration with many universities in Taiwan and Japan, but I think they would like to try to build collaboration actually with universities in Europe, in this case, possibly with Leeds. And I know our ITS colleague friend is here also, but here in Surabaya, between Widya Mandala and ITS, we've had collaboration, consortium before. We've even had collaboration with LIPI. LIPI is Indonesian Institute of Sciences. So I would like to know actually if this possibility for research collaboration is something that you can help. We can send proposal from our side, from Widya Mandala, but we can also maybe talk to ITS and LIPI and perhaps do something that's more like a consortium. So it's more than just one university. We can do something in Surabaya, but perhaps if other universities would like to collaborate also depending on the topic, that will be a possibility. But I don't know if something that a possibility also for you from Leeds, and how will be the best way to start a conversation on that one. Thank you, Martin and Pramila.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I think the way you mentioned there would be interesting to us if you did want to make a consortium-based approach. I think that would be something that would be interesting, because it would obviously broaden the potential links and the potential research collaboration. I think our School of Chemical Engineering has a new person in the international lead position that Pramila and myself met with, and he's very keen to broaden out the links and to develop new opportunities that are, we have. For example, in India, over the last couple of years, we developed a relationship with an Indian institution that was in a relatively early stage, I guess, of delivering education in chemical engineering. And we've developed sort of a 2+2 and a 4+1 pathway. And the academic who was leading the relationships at the time has also helped them with elements of kind of capacity building and looking at curriculum of the Indian institution that we were working with. So I think it would be interesting to hear what kind of collaboration you want to undertake, and we can propose that to the School of Chemical Engineering International Lead. And as I say, he's definitely looking at opportunities at the moment and looking to see what we can do. So yeah, it would be interesting to hear what you're interested in, and we can push that forward to colleagues. So I guess I don't want to say we definitely would or we definitely wouldn't at this stage, because we'd have to, it's all kind of down to priorities and appetite within the school. But it sounds interesting, and as you say, that consortium based approach sounds like an interesting way of taking it forward, I think.
Okay. And then if we have anything that to propose, we can forward it through the email that you put in the PPT earlier, right? SEA office.
Yes.
Yeah, and we both posted our emails in the chat, haven't we, as well?
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, got it. Thank you very much, Martin and Pramila. I think I'll give it back to Bu Theodora. Thank you, Bu Theodora.
Can I also add that occasionally there will be grants offered by different organizations like British Council and several other Indonesian grants.
Yeah.
So when such opportunities come up and you'd like to look for a partner on our side, if you could drop me an email, we'll try to do the matching as well. But usually the deadlines are very short.
Yes.
So it's great that we are building relationships now, so we can get you in touch with people at our university, or if you have any Leeds alumni working at your respective institutions, they can already start conversations. So when opportunities arise, then we'll try to match.
Okay, thank you very much for the information, Pramila. Yeah, I know sometimes one of those announcements has a very, very tight deadline.
Yes.
And by the time I bring it to the faculty members, it'll be like, let me think about that. The whole consideration is because of the deadline. But thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Erlin.
Sama-sama, Bu.
And we still have Ibu Oktavianti from November Institute of Technology. Please, Bu.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ibu Theodora. Hello, Martin. How are you? And also, Pramila, my name is Oktavianti Dwi Wahyurini. I'm from ITS, Institute Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya. Our university, it's emphasis on science, technology, design, and business. And we are, there's 2 points that we would like to raise within this meeting. We would like to invite professors and lecturers from the University of Leeds to be our, to be speakers in our guest lecture series of UN SDGs, of Sustainable Development Goals. So as you've mentioned before, Martin, that the best place to ask for who will be the perfect person for speakers, it's asking from your office. So in this opportunity, we would like to invite lecturers and professors from Leeds University to be speakers in our GLS SDGs forum. That's the first one. And IDS, we have the International Undergraduate Program, where the 17 of our undergraduate program is delivered in English. And our IUP students, that's how we call the International Undergraduate Program, our IUP students are expected to have an international exposure, and such as for double degree or joint degree program with our partner universities, or at least to have an exchange program. So that's the second one that we would like to propose. We would like to send some of our students, our IUP students, to have the mobility in Leeds, because there are growing interest in among our IUP students to go abroad, specifically to UK. I think that's all from me, Ibu Theodora. Thank you.
Yes, please, Martin. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it sounds interesting. Again, as you highlighted, I guess what we can do, if you send through an idea of the specifics of the focus and what the opportunity is, and what the kind of type of engagement of, and I suppose maybe what the benefit as well is for people participating, and if they can join symposium and sort of help as a way of developing new research links, then we would be interested to hear how that could work. So yeah, no, definitely that would be interesting to sort of send through the topics and send through an idea of the dates, and again we can kind of feed it through to relevant colleagues and see whether there's an appetite to engage with that. In terms of the student mobility, is there sort of specific agendas to that, in terms of are they looking just to come for a semester or a year, or are you looking at kind of like the sort of 2+2 type of model, or is it a mix?
Yes, so I think it would be ideal if they can come for 2+2 scheme, but the exchange program would be also a good option for a baby step, I think.
Sorry, just making notes in the background. Yeah, no, brilliant. Well, yeah, again, just feel free to send through those ideas of what you're thinking about, and we can. The challenge that we have with exchange, Pramila, I guess speaking frankly, is we are probably, I think in terms of the student mobility, Leeds is either the most or one of the most mobile universities in the UK in terms of the number of students we send abroad. Partly because we have a lot of language students and a lot of students who are studying programs about different parts of the world, but there tends to be sometimes restrictions in terms of what the students are actually looking at, and we always want to sign up new partners for exchange, but sometimes we find it difficult to service that demand from the Leeds side. So often we would end up offering a fee-paying study abroad option as an alternative, because for us sometimes the exchange thing just isn't viable, because we don't have the demand from the Leeds side to send students out. But of course, there are things that would be very beneficial for the University of Leeds students to experience in terms of the life, the research opportunities, and being firsthand with some of the things that they're studying. But yeah, that's often a challenge that we have. So sometimes we do have to offer the sort of fee-paying study abroad program as an alternative, because exchange or mutual exchange doesn't always work. But certainly, just let us know what you're thinking, and we can definitely have a look at that.
So what do you think about the 2+2 joint degree program? Would it be something that's visible? I know that joint degree program process to initiate the joint degree program between the two universities, kind of a long shot, but I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, we definitely do have collaborations in that space, and it is more feasible in some ways probably than sometimes the exchange stuff, because there isn't that same barrier of getting the Leeds students to kind of go the other direction. So yeah, no, certainly we do have a range of collaborations in that space, and it's not something that we have a lot of in Indonesia, for example. So yeah, no, we're certainly interested in thinking about new opportunities. So yeah, definitely send the ideas through, and we can have a think about that and see how that might work.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much, Martin, and get back
Brilliant.
to you, Bu Theodora.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Oktavianti. And we have a raised hand from University of Erlangga. Silakan, Bu.
Hello, thank you, Ibu Dora. Hi, Martin and Pramila. I'm interested to know about the Turing scheme because I heard it's like the funding mobility program. So I would like to know from your perspective and what we're going to do about that program together. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a complex question, and it's something that I think Pramila and myself have been trying to fight. We obviously have someone within our international team as such, I suppose, that looks after the Turing scheme for us, and made our bid to use the Turing money to support our mobility activity. As I'm sure you're aware, it's interesting, you know, and it's one of the interesting things that's come out of Brexit, I suppose, that, you know, that we lost the traditional scheme that we had, which was very good because it was the sort of two-way mobility. The Turing scheme does allow us to have collaborations outside of the traditional network of the EU that we would have had in the past. So I suppose it's positive in that sense. I guess it doesn't have reciprocal funding to bring students in, which is a negative, I suppose, from a personal perspective. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we actually have a webinar, I think, about it tomorrow, actually, to understand a little bit more internally about the Turing scheme and about how that can be utilised for different types of projects, because I think it's still something that we're probably finding a little bit more about, and the announcements are quite sort of short term in terms of the timescales. So yeah, I mean, if you have specific proposals that you'd like to put forward and you think could work within the constraints of the Turing scheme, then certainly let us know. I think we've probably used Turing so far to support what we've already been doing to a certain extent. But, you know, maybe as an institution, as things move forward and we get slightly longer term plans for what Turing will be for a longer period of time, we'll probably be able to be a bit more strategic about how we utilize that, and obviously that comes into play in Southeast Asia, because it can hopefully help us to do more in the region and to encourage that kind of mobility. Did you have specific ideas in mind? Was it student mobility that you were thinking at undergrad, postgrad, or research?
Yeah, so I'm interested to explore about the possibility for having exchange in an undergraduate, because I heard, I'm not quite familiar with Turing. I just heard from another colleague from British government for that. So I would like to know how the perspective from the university level, because I heard that is it similar like IISMA? So we can do like this with the Turing scheme program, or is there any possible other than mobility for students we can do the funding for that?
Yeah, I suppose fundamentally the structure, I guess, is similar in that it's designed as whereas what we had in the past was this kind of Erasmus funding, which allowed funded two-way mobility, and I guess that's what we're, you know, I should take my own personal gripes with Brexit out of the discussion and be a bit more positive about Turing, I suppose, because it is positive in the sense that it provides funding opportunities for British students, or students within British universities, I should say, not just British students with British universities, to go on mobility programs, not just to the EU now, to other countries. So yeah, so there is scope there to do that. I mean, I think it would be fair to say that I guess it's something that probably it will evolve over time, and we will look at more opportunities. I think so far we've used it to support what we were delivering anyway to an extent, but as things move forward, we'll maybe look at other opportunities. And as you say, it's fundamentally similar to the IISMA program, probably not as financially generous necessarily, I guess. Maybe, I don't know if it provides as much support as IISMA does to the students, but certainly, again, send through any ideas that you have, and the challenge again that we have, I suppose, is driving that appetite for our students to go to Indonesia at the moment. So we have, you know, some programs where it would be relevant, but I suppose the students that we have going abroad are driven to certain key traditional places that they go to at the moment, which is kind of Hong Kong, Australia, the US, Canada, Singapore, and they kind of, it's trying to push that, push that interest in other areas would be the key challenge, I suppose, or the key barrier to it. But yeah, certainly send through, and we can think about how we could, whether those opportunities would be relevant and whether we can try and take those forward.
Okay, so I'll try to compose a proposal for that. So thank you, Martin and Pramila.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ibu Dora.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I don't see any raised hand yet. So I think I'll share the opportunity for our colleagues from international campus. We have here Ibu Rokoya or Ibu Karina, Andari Karina. Do you have anything in particular for the collaboration of the University of Leeds?
Okay, thank you, Ibu Dora. Hi, Martin and Pramila. My name is Karina from Communication Program. There are two things actually. The first one, we are from communication. We have several collaboration with others, but we want to initiate also collaboration with Leeds, University of Leeds. Not only for, maybe for the short term, it will be like a joint assignment, guest lecture, and many other opportunities. But for a longer term that we might need further discussion, we plan to have a 3+1 collaboration with Leeds under the communication program. But we are now preparing the new streaming. We are still working on it right now, the international communication. So it's under communication, but since we want to give a more, the material, the international relation areas, in the international relation area, which we know that you are very strong in that area. I just share these initial ideas because internally we still working on the process, but I want to know the opportunity so we can propose and discuss further with our team and later with you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, and I think it's within mentioned international relations, it is an area that Leeds is obviously well known for, and I mentioned a few times in the presentation the international leads that we have in each school and within our School of International Relations, International Politics. The international lead, Dr. Adam Tyson, is very kind of engaged with Indonesia as an individual in terms of research output and activity, and he spent some time, didn't he, Pramila, living in or studying? Was he? I don't know if he studied or he worked in Indonesia. So certainly that's an area where there is engagement with Indonesia, and certainly across the faculty. There is, I'm sure there would be potential appetite. So again, I think the best thing to do is that after this meeting, I think what we'll try and do, Pramila, we'll try and sort of pull together the ideas that have come out of it, and we can kind of follow up with colleagues in the relevant faculties and say, okay, these are the different things that there is an appetite for, and then that'll give them an opportunity sort of to cherry pick the things that they would be interested in and that we can kind of move forward with. So yeah, no, that's great. Thanks for sharing that, and share information with us, and we can try and pull it all together and see what appetite there is from the faculty.
Thank you, Martin. Yeah, I brought up this initial idea, so I know that we will follow up later. So our team will follow up with your team and discuss further later. Thank you, Martin.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Bu Dora, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Karina. Okay, I think we almost close to the end of the meeting, but I will give the opportunity like one or two last questions. From Bu Lely.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ibu Theodora, for the time. I just like to send my warmest greeting to my
colleague, Premila, who's been working closely with Universitas Negeri Malang for the past year. And also very nice to meet you, Martin Mole. We're very looking forward to expand our cooperation together. Unfortunately, last year we didn't send any students to Leeds University for the IISMA program. However, in the future or this year, maybe we'd like to hopefully send our students there. What I'd like to ask is about, since you've been working closely with a lot of universities in Asia, I reckon that maybe the demand of the outbound mobility from the University of Leeds side is quite low. However, do you have any success story or even the best practice or how to, increase the enthusiasm of Leeds University students to go out for the mobility? Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I think in a general sense, Leeds does have lots of students who have a really strong appetite for mobility, and as I say, I think we're probably, if not the largest in terms of the volume of students going out, we're one of the 2 or 3 largest in the UK. So there is, in the general sense, there is the appetite, definitely, and there's lots of infrastructure in place at Leeds to help facilitate that, and do all the things that would be required to raise awareness, to support students before they go. The team did an excellent job as the pandemic hit at the beginning, and to get all the students back from overseas and stuff. So we've got a fantastic team in place to support the mobility. I think the key challenge that we have, as you say, it tends to be dominated probably by certain countries that our students are mobile with and are heading towards. So I suppose what we need to try and do is to think about trying to extend that knowledge base and extend the awareness and the appetite for new places. And I think we'd be interested to hear. And I think the partner who was receiving the students would be pretty fundamental in that, I guess, if we were looking to extend that in the future to help try and give students a better understanding, talk to current students, and do all those things that can kind of help facilitate the relationship. But I think in a general sense, we have really good infrastructure in place, but I think it is just raising the awareness probably and putting some additional support. Pramila, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, probably one of the example of the activities could be increasing the exposure of Indonesia among University of Leeds students. Maybe they just know about China or some other countries in Asia, but Indonesia, maybe not many of them are familiar with it. That's why the demand is very low ultimately in this kind of COVID and pandemic situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is there's lots of fascinating reasons and personal development, professional development reasons for students to consider those the countries out in the places like Indonesia, such an area of opportunity on an individual level. If they do have that experience, I'm sure that will be life affirming and life changing, as it is for I mentioned Dr. Adam Tyson, who spent, I think, his time studying or working in Indonesia, and now that's his primary research partner, I think, isn't it, Pramila? He's really, really interested, engaged, and I think, probably using him would be a good, because he's a big advocate and a big enthusiast, and I think it's just trying to change the mindset a little bit, and maybe post Brexit again as one of those things that we can try and engage as an opportunity rather than it being seen as a negative that maybe the UK was looking inward. We can say, okay, well, what it actually does, it allows you to look further afield, outward, rather than just looking at partnership or chances to visit across Europe. So yeah, I think it just probably requires work and support and engagement, I suppose, to try and kind of raise awareness of that. And it is a challenge, but there's definitely, as I say, it's a university where there is appetite to have that opportunity to spend a semester or a year abroad, definitely. So there is the audience there. It's just trying to turn their attention from Australia to Indonesia, or from Hong Kong to Indonesia. It's just it may take some work.
Yeah, thank you very much for the answer.
Okay, thank you, Bu Lely. Okay, I think we can conclude our meeting today. I think the contacts are already in the chat, so you may contact Martin and Premila through email as well. But you can also submit your question and your proposal to our attendance form. So we will liaise your proposal to the University of Leeds as well. And from the discussion, we can see from the simple things that we can do together, the joint webinar, the one with the proposal by Ciputra, and then we see the enthusiasm of student mobility. So there are things that we would like to pursue with the University of Leeds. And then I see also huge potentials on doing research collaboration, and as well the double degree both in undergraduate and master program. And I think that really needs a deep conversation between the two faculties on that matter. I think we can conclude the Q&A session. Thank you very much for your participation. And I will give the screen back to the Master of Ceremony, Pak Fajar, please.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dora, for leading the discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our meeting this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presence and your participations. We hope you found this meeting fruitful. And on behalf of Binus University, allow me to express our most sincere gratitude to our new friends from the University of Leeds, to Mr. Martin Mole and also Ms. Premila Kanapati. Thank you very much. Thank you once again for your presentations and for helping us create this collaboration opportunities. And we also would like to thank Dr. Rahmat. Dr. Rahmat is still here, and also Budia. Thank you very much for your considerable support in this meeting and for making it possible. And for participants, allow me to remind you all once again to complete an attendance form to record your participations and to provide us with feedback of this session arrangement. You also can upload your partnership proposals to the University of Leeds in the given section there. You can find the link on your screen now. Let me display it to you. Yeah, you can see the link now on the screen, and we also have posted the link on the chat column. So thank you very much once again. It's been a great experience sharing this wonderful afternoon with you. I'm signing off. Stay healthy and safe, everyone. See you, bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Ya, nanti versinya versi digital, Pak. Jadi nggak apa-apa, Belma versi digital. Jadi 1000 nggak apa-apa. Kalau nanti